Welcome to Optimal Games Days. So, over the weekend, a thing happened.
Got some burgers down there? Jet bikes? Oh my god, what the fuck? There's fucking.
Whoever did this is a monster.
There's paint in here too.
What's this?
Wing? Like, even if it's nothing else, it's just wings.
Yeah, just wings. Looks like he used one bat wing.
That's true curry
What
shit.
an asshole.
Oh my god, this is.
At least you go to a good home, right?
Yeah, it should.
Like, only an asshole.
I can't believe you were such a hero to point this out and find it out for us.
I know.
No fucking way! Sorry, that was in pure fucking shock. What else is in there? Wait, what's into the thing?
Oh, surely it's empty.
I hope so. Congrats, you just got a new Tyrannid army?
So, I ended up coming back with an IKEA bag full of GW minis. Now, if you're thinking this is something that doesn't happen in real life, you're right. This isn't a random skip that we just randomly looked into. We know whose this is, and they're one of the guys in the video. Basically, they needed to downsize, they needed to scale down. They tried selling off a bunch of stuff. They had a bunch of stuff left over, and they made a conscious decision just going through their collection and just offloading a bunch of it, just straight at the skip. When I was talking to them, I was kind of surprised that they'd mentioned there was a few pieces in there, and they brought me down to have a look, which is where we got that video of it. And my oh my, there was a lot in there. So in the rest of the video, we're going to go through some of that collection. And yeah, now I've got all of this extra plastic and all this extra stuff to look at. So I'm facing a bit of an existential crisis that I might talk about as we go along. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what we have. Okay, this is where we're starting, and this looks like a haul all by itself. But this is actually the leftovers. This is all the stuff that I haven't gone for. So we have. I'll show you directly after this when we have more paint. But this is a new Japti bone, and you know it's gone bad. Notice here. You see this? This is for anyone doing GW paint. This is bad. Can I get something to lever it out? You do not want your paint pots like this. You want them like that. This is the most annoying clip. I don't know why it's there. I think I know why it's there. I think there's a way to leverage it open, to hold it open. If you do that, or does it? I don't know why that would. Maybe it gives it. Yeah, it gives it the spring. It gives it a spring, keep it closed. But often what happens is people push it over, and then this happens. So what happens is this will dry out at the back because there'll be the gap here, and then all of a sudden you can't close this. So for this pot, if I wanted to hold on to it, I'd have to clean all this out. But you need to make sure that that's on that side. So there's a good few in this collection here where he just couldn't get that closed. Then that built up, and that went dry. Just a thing, something to keep aware of, keep an eye out on. So there are some cool models in this that I'm not keeping for my own purposes. This is from the original Shadespire box. So there's a few of those. We've got a bit of a Warcry collection in here. So those are the turkeys from the first edition box. Those are the gargoyles. Oh, that's the again from the first box of Shadespire. We got a Chaos Space Marine, big gun. Some small old Blood Bowl skeletons. They're kind of cute actually. I have to be careful. See, part of this is I need to make sure that I don't completely cram my to-do pile with stuff. So yeah, there's that's Scritch. Is it Scritch? Scritch is the greatest, yes, yes. So from one of the old Underworld warbands, but this yeah, Scritch was gone, so it's only part of it. Got some missing bits on this guy, I think, but otherwise mostly intact. Chaos Space Marine, Chosen, Glue. Here's one of the old world Chaos guys. It's a collection. It's bits. Chunks of them are broken, so this would be a Squig Herder from, again, another one Underworld Warband. You know, so these are some old classics. As I said, these are the ones that I'm not going to be holding on to. Although as I was looking through it and had this out, my wife was laughing at me. Oh no, I do want her. My wife was laughing at me because she had found one that she thought I should keep. All right, yeah, this is it. My wife pointed out that this was in this pile. Hadn't been one of the ones I was picking, but this is a old Privateer press model. This is the main villainess from the Witchfire trilogy. So we might try clean that up and get it in a good state. Okay, but yeah, all of this we're not holding on to. This would be a good find on a other day, but we need to make room. This is the paint, or this is the paint that has survived, the paint that has lasted. So this is basically a full tray of normal paints. So there's a good few duplicates scattered throughout this. We've got some of the really, really old paints living alongside with some of the new ones. So yeah, you can see at the back of this one, it's Leadbelcher. I do like some Leadbelcher. At some point I should go in and I should clean out this so that seal will seal properly. But I have gone through most of these. I have given them a check over, and we are in a pretty good state. Over here we have similar, except this is contrasts and some inks. And then some weird stuff like the technical Martian Arnott, which I have to admit I've never used. So again, yeah, I've gone through all of these. Some are half full, some are brand new, and there are a certain amount of those different blacks of duplications going on. No, not too great. A lot of duplications. But it's a collection. Why would you clear out a collection like this? Well, I guess if you wanted to start over. So they do say that the Games Workshop paints are great, but often if you get a little more experience, you move over to one of the other versions in the hobby trumpet, as they talk about. So I have done somewhat similar. I have been picking up some of the AK series, which I've been finding has been quite good. For my brother, he's after picking up, or he got picked up for him because I supply his gaming needs, the new Army Painter Fanatic range, which is really, really good. The Pro Krill is highly recommended, and the two tin coats. I think any of those four are a good place to go. If you had a big collection like this and you just wanted to just get rid of all of it, that makes sense. And then, start with a brand new collection that you've got all the paints you need and you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about the legacy stuff. The advantage of having these old ones, or these Games Workshop ones still, is that the Games Workshop ones are often used in painting guides, or when you're doing a painting guide, because it's just one of the ones that's very accessible for people. So, yeah, great find. Lots of new paints. We'll see whether I ever use any of these or not, but if nothing else, the contrasts and the inks I think are fantastic. I love the contrast and inks from Games Workshop. Also in there, we had a couple of spray cans. So we've got a Runor Brass, a Leadbelcher, and a Chaos Black. I need to be really, really careful with these and test them before I use them on anything, just to make sure. Because if they are old spray cans can go bad, and you can end up with some dusting and lots of weird other things. I do a lot of mine undercutting with an airbrush. But this lead belcher might be really good. I am probably going to take a backlog of Necrons and use lead belcher to get them up to speed. They don't. It isn't the primary color. I actually use a weird gray. Um, but yeah, that might be good for that. All right, first of the actual stuff. And as you can see, I've bagged things. So hopefully they're not you, not too thingy. So we've got single sprue, and we have a bundle of sprues. So this is another Falcon, and this is a Jetbike Viper. Both of them are missing canopies. The bottom of that skip, there is definitely a bunch of canopies, and it will drive me nuts. So I'm gonna have to chase these down. I'm gonna see if I can get these canopies. So they're clear parts that would go in there, or we can see it on this big boy. No, we can't. But yeah, would go on the top. So for the Falcon, there's two of them, and then for the jetbike, so I need to get three of them right now. One of the things that will I mention every so often is all of the instruction manuals. So to work out what was missing and what went with what, you can check out Reddit, and there's a Reddit called Warhammer Instructions where people just post the guides. And in cases like this, it's really handy where you can just kind of find out what's going on. Okay, so there is a bit of an Eldar team going on. So let me go find the next one. Okay, so these are the Banshees. These are a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to open them. So it is just 3 sprues on Banshees. I have no bases, so I'll have to get some bases. That's not a problem. Again, I did go to Warhammer Instructions to find out what were there. And then I found that I also had this. So this is a Jan Zar. So she is the Phoenix Lord for the Howling Banshees. And so this was probably out of a box. So yeah, they're fun. So it's going to be 5 Banshees and Jane's Art, which will make a nice little painting project, because largely it's do the bone colors, do a crazy amount of red hair I think she normally has, and then you're good to go. So it's a nice little Eldar selection. Eldari. So Falcon, a Viper, and then some Howling Banshees. Cool. Next up, we have parts of Blackstone Fortress, and this is very, very cool because a lot of these actually get re-released. So if you look right now, you can find this guy, this Ministorian Priest, is a single release for a stupid amount of money. And a lot of them are, like that's the Rogue Trader. I think you can get him as a separate purchase. And then we've got a bunch of bad guys. So that is a Rogue Psyker. Here we have some sort of beastman with a chainsword. All of this is going to be useful for me. So how are we going to take this? This is going to get painted up and get put into my crew kill team. So that's an easy one. I actually already have one of these painted, so I'm not sure necessarily what we're going to do with this girl. Again, I have some painted, but these are perfect if you wanted to do one of the rattling kill teams. Or now we've actually got rules for the rattlings proper in Necromunda. This would be perfect for Necromunda. Noble in Necromunda could be a replacement for the Rogue Trader in the Stars Riders. So there's options. We'll see a bit later. I am apparently going to be working on a Sisters of Battle warband. So that is something that this can fit into. So warband army. We're looking at like army. This is a beautiful one. Unfortunately, I think we're missing the tip here of the gun. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. And unfortunately, this is a common enough thing with things having broken off. But still, is a beautiful model. Yeah, we might have to look at something with that, see if we can do anything with it. Then this is the Psyker. No. Navigator. This is the Navigator from that box. Some beautiful work on the back of that. And then you are 052, I think it is. This is the Man of Iron model. So very, very, very cool. It used to be playable in one of the kill teams. You could play it in the Mechanicum. kill team, which is quite cool. And similar stuff for the other side, although as an extra bonus, we are going to be able to use these as NPEs for kill team. So I definitely do want to make a push at a kill team, and having some of these will be good. And similarly for Necromunda, having some Chaos Psychers will go quite well with the Chaos Warband and Lord knows what else. So delighted. Also mixed in there, we had an Inquisitor. This is the Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, which is very, very cool. Yeah, this will be good. One of the things that I do want to do this year is I do want to get into more kill team, and I do love the kill team NPE player v PVE variant of it. I also have lots of plans to try out Stargrave, and all of these models can go straight into that, so that's awesome. Before we were looking at Blackstone Fortress, now we're on the other side of it. We're looking at Cur City. This is actually what triggered the whole conversation. I had mentioned that I was looking to get my hands on some rat models because I'm looking to do Rangers of Shadow Deep, and I needed a few more rat models. And I'm like, oh yeah, I put some rat models in the skip. What else did you put in the skip? And there's a lot. Okay, so we don't have the full set of heroes. Not sure where they're gone. And we have a pretty nicely done priest cleric. We have what is a death mage. It's kind of a necromancer vibe. And then we've got a few a little bit more straightforward. We've just got a noble warrior, and we've got one of the Caradron overlords. The elf is here. Beautiful, beautiful model. But yeah, without a base. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. As I said, I do have a fully painted set of Cur City stashed away. So I'm probably not going to be too interested in doing these unless I want to do like a conversion. This would probably be a good one for... Ooh, the beard's intact. That's a bit of a miracle. Yeah, maybe that... Anyway, we'll look at that. I'll probably redo these two guys in the color scheme I want. That'll give me 4 Kosargi guard, which would be great. I really, really liked Cur City. I am busy painting up the last few remaining bits. Although he has been sitting on my table for a while. So we do have things going on there. For this, being able to round out a few more skeletons is probably nice. But one of the things is a lot of them have broken spear. Yeah, broken spears, which is really unfortunate. I probably should just be throwing out any of the ones with broken spears, which unfortunately is a lot. The sword and shield is good. Yeah, it's the leader. Now, his halberd is in here, but whether it's worth actually holding on to, I'm not sure. But, you know, that's still 5 more undead models that I didn't have before. If I ever decide to go for one of the big armies, that could be a thing. And then we've got a bunch of the very distinct ghouls, so it might be an idea to try trim the graves off these and try redo them. And unfortunately, this one is missing the arms. So I am going to have to go through this again and then kind of cut out some of the bits. This will be getting used for scenery. And yeah, I'm sure we can make something out of this. It's just good generic kind of D&D style minis, so they'll find home one way or another. This here is Morgwaith's Blade Coven, who came out in Beastgrave for Underworlds, so a long time ago. So things, her halberd has broken, so I've tried gluing on another halberd. We'll see how well that goes. One of the other models lost a sword, so again I've tried gluing a sword on, and we'll see how long they last. I'm hoping if I can get a layer of paint onto it, it'll help that particular seal. This warband, Underworld's warband, is very, very cool. I don't think they're good. They're not good for Warcry because none of the Daughters of Cain are, unfortunately. But they're beautiful. So yeah, one of the soul-bound campaigns is set in a city with a lot of the Daughters of Cain. So I did kind of want to get my hands on some models just because they're cool, just to have them. Yeah, very, very happy with this. So yeah, it might take a little bit of work, but we'll get these girls going. Then we have some Blood Bowl teams. So in the first pile, that was just a big mess. There were actually a lot of high elves and a couple of dark elves, but yeah, they weren't the official teams, and or they were very old versions. But these were the ones out of there, the Blood Bowl teams that I kept. So this is a dwarf box. It's a full box, including transfers. Um, there are a few places where maybe the joins aren't particularly tight, or where oh my god, he's missing an arm. Oh no. Oh no. Um, so there might be a few bits to look at. So this might be a case of stripping the models and then tidying them up. So we'll look at that one later. What Elves are not a full team. They are missing something. So again, this is probably a strip them and then see where we get. I think they've only got one runner. So I think the team is actually can be a valid team. I think it's got the 2 War Dancers, it's got a thrower, it's got just one runner. But yeah, maybe it's not optimal. But if I can strip these down, if I do want to pick up a box, then this will round it out nicely. That'd be good. And then over here, we have the corn team. Now, it's the full box of corn. I've actually been meaning to pick these up for a while because I love painting chaos colors. I love painting red, I love painting black, and then I enjoy painting the flesh colors. So this is a nice scheme for me. So I'm looking forward to doing these. So again, we will strip these down. Maybe tidy up if there's any need. I'm not sure where Nestle is. Let's see. No, yeah, all good. The team itself, I think you like having more than just these 2 corn gores. I think you like having 4, but 2 to start. Certainly not competing with the price. And then we've got one of the big guys, and we've got a special player. So lots of Blood Bowl. As I said, probably going to strip all of these. I did recently pick up some Biostrip from Era Hobbies, which is what I normally look at or normally go to. So we're gonna try it with those. And we might do another video on those a bit down the line. Warcry has a very, very cool option where you can play monsters. This is a Chimera, which for a good chunk of Warcry's history was meta defining. So I think near the start of this current edition, a Chimera and some cheap was like normally the plague ridden things would have you a game winning combo. He's only missing this. But I actually don't like the model, which is a terrible thing to say. Similarly, you can play this in Destruction. It's very nicely painted. A Ragnarok. Ragnarok. Symbol on the back and everything. Very, very, very nice. And then this, I'm not going to pretend I understand what this is. It's Corindra. And there's some bits on the side that I don't even know where to go. So this is a dark elf monster. So you can do similar. At the back there's partial bits of quite a cool character, but unfortunately not much of them left. I'm thinking I'm not going to hold on to these. I'm thinking that these are actually going to go out in the bin as well, unfortunately. A bit of a shame. So nicely done. The reason is I don't typically play monsters. If I wanted to play a monster in a Warcry game, I do have a nice dragon that I've painted up, and I'd be ready for that. And while these are cool, they take up a lot of space, and I can absolutely understand why my buddy was keen to get rid of them. If it's just sitting around and you're not getting to play with them, yeah, they're less fun having on your table. This here is a set of the 2 original warbands from the first box of Warcry. I have a set each. I never could justify to myself getting another set, but I am super, super happy that they're here. Like having another one of these Plains Prowlers is very, very cool. Like being able to double up on some of these and having a little bit more flexibility. Normally I would just field the entire warband because that's the models I have. But now, if I paint up these, I am going to actually have the options. And even, yeah, I think I think I went for a sword instead of the axe. So that's a new version of a fighter I didn't have before. I got to get it the wrong way. Doubly so for Iron Golems, who are one of my favorite warbands. Being able to get another one of these monsters is going to be absolutely great. So I'm dead chuffed to have these. She is also great, being able to do her spinny stuff. And these guys are just tough. So I think. So there's this bit. I think this bit is probably from another one of these guys who isn't here. I think we're probably down a model, which is fine. And for this particular model here, it was built without the banner, without the signifier, and instead has a different profile. This profile is actually better, and I picked the one with the banner. So this is great. This rounds out those two warbands for me and gives me a lot more options. And I'm super happy. I'm super chuffed. I am going to be covering, looking at forward to the next edition of Warcry. I'm absolutely convinced that we will see a new edition get announced in March, and we will see it hit shelves in August 2025. Um, yeah, but I suspect these warbands are going to be gone from it. So these are the original first edition ones, so they'll have lasted basically for 2 editions. So it'll be really nice to, again, well, I don't need to strip these actually, unless there's some tidy up work to do. But no, they look like they've been put together okay. Yeah. But yeah, I did in like a silver with like a candy red over it. I think it's one. Was it one of the contrasts? I'll have to look up recipes. But yeah, I suspect that these are not going to be legal in the next edition. Maybe with some legacy rules or something like that. But they're already off sale. So having these and being able to round out the warbands I have is going to be great. At absolute worst, they could be used as a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They could be used in a Age of Sigmar army, probably. And just use them as one of the Dark Oath. I know they're not Dark Oath models, but for a while they were kind of counted as, and it makes sense. Now, along with that, we do have these, who are the Horns of a Shut. Just going to put all these aside, try to get these Warcry Warbands to them all at once. This again is where checking out Warhammer instructions is great, because there is a bit missing. What is that bit? Just a one bit. It is a horn that goes on the back of the leader. So I think this is good. I think I'll be able to put together this warband without having to worry about that particular piece. So Ons Peru, full warband, absolutely great. Dead chuffed with that. This one is for the Rotmire Creed. So again, this would have been got in the Heart of Gerbox, which I never actually got. So these warbands are new to me. Now, if we look here, these ones have lots of gaps on it. And from what I can tell, looking at those instructions, it looks like the leader was built, and then presumably whoever was second on the list, or maybe just the leader, depending how many sprues you took up. But I'd say it's probably the first two. So without the leader, Warcry Warband is not going to be legal. These in the box ones only have one leader. Now, if I wanted to, obviously I could go out if they were still selling them. I'm not sure they are. I think the Rotmire Creed is probably going to stick around because that's one of the ones that kind of ties in with Nurgle. But even if that doesn't happen, these are some very, very cool looking fighters that, you know, can go in as just like not necessarily Rotmire Creed, but like they could go into Necromunda if I put them on the right basis. Gave them a holster. You know, they fit that kind of scraggly vibe. So I'm just going to treat them as cool models, and then we hope for the best with that. Keeping it Warcry adjacent, there is what appears to be a box of Zangor Skyfire somethings. So yeah, Zangor's flying on magical discs, firing stuff. So there's 3 of those. Another one firing. Yeah, 3 of those. Some at very dubious angles. So I'm not sure what to think of that. And then there is one, which I assume is a saucer of some kind. Don't know much about these. They could be something cool. Uh, Boingrot Bounders. Lots of Boingrot Bounders. So hard to go wrong with gobos on squigs. Um, Most of this painting has been done with contrast paints, which are great. I recently had a discussion with someone who didn't like contrast paints because I suspect they kind of think of it as cheating, because they kind of associate it with just doing that one and done, which this approach has done. But they are fantastic base coat colors. So these ones, even though they are fully painted, I could go in on them later and then liven them up, add some more details, and kind of work from those. So these are not ones that I'm going to strip. These might be ones that if I wanted to do a little bit more on, I might build them up. So I'm not particularly a fan of using contrast for metals. I would probably go back with silvers to do it properly. And also there's a little bit of a shine that you get off of contrast paints. So putting something over it, or at the very least doing like a matte spray on it, can be good, can make it look a little bit better. Yeah. We'll see how we go with this. I have no idea how the Zangors are going to work out. Zangors were not on my radar, although obviously after seeing them get murdered in that recent Amazon um, episode with Titus, that was kind of fun. But goblins, I have been collecting goblins, and haven't assembled much, so I'm very, very happy to have those into the collection. This was in here. I have no idea where this came in from. It looks like it's one of the spider grots. Is this a flying spider grot? I don't know. He's cool. Here we have some Drukhari. Although, I mean, I guess it kind of ends up being Aldari adjacent sometimes, but this is their equivalent of the Viper. I'm actually not sure what it's called. Uh, what's missing from this is quite interesting. So again, I need another one of these canopies, the plastic bits. Uh, he's after sniping a bunch of the guys. So I think the guys who would have been standing up in the back. So yeah, not much of a loss. We're kind of okay with that. And then this, these are bits. So these are the wings. I think, is that from that kit, the Incubi kit? Might be. Some nice heads in there anyway. I have a little bit of Drukhari myself, so I'm quite happy to get some bits that I can put in. So yeah, I've got spaces. These are the bikes, or the speeder things, green goblin like things they have. But again, the bodies have been taken. I'm pretty sure they were taken for Blood Bowl of all things, to try and make a Dark Elf Blood Bowl team, which is definitely an option. So it looks like I should have all the bits for the speeders, but just no riders for them. There's maybe one rider. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach that. Over here, and these are wings we were talking about before. So a bunch of special weapons and wings. So yeah, that might be useful if I'm looking at some other Drukhari stuff. So yeah, this is mostly for my bits box, I guess. This one I think I can salvage, especially as this particular Drukhari thing normally comes with 2 of the plastic bits, one a full one and one half one. So they should be able to get my hands on, hopefully. Okay, a bit of a collection of stuff here. Let's see if we can get through some of this fast. So vines, cool. All right, we'll put them on some scenery. This is Hexbane's warband, but it's Hexbane's warband twice, give or take. So one of them has been primed twice, and then the other one hasn't. And one, I think, this Amoth. I think Amoth is missing from one of them. So it is one complete warband and one partially missing warband. I have this warband. I love this warband. I think they look super cool. If I don't do anything else with them, painting up a few of the dogs would be great. And I am tempted to maybe I have pre-ordered that John Blanche set of Grimdark, so that might be a cool project. But honestly, I have so much already. Maybe I don't need to be worrying about something special. This is the unique pile. These are the ones that I just kind of pulled out that I thought were kind of cool. I've got a couple of ghouls in here because I kept meaning to get round to doing some ghouls, and I've got one ghoul done, but that was it. That's another two ghouls, so that's something. Chunk of scenery, nothing to say. Oh, it's a Blood Bowl Ghoul Runner. So these are one of the kind of key positionals in the is it necromantic team? Yeah. So I have two. This brings me up to three. I'd really like that four, but that's delighted to see that. Really, really happy. A couple of the old Blood Bowl models. I have this team already myself, so adding an extra catcher into it's good. One of the old fancy Battle Sisters that came out when the box originally came out. I'm not sure if you can still get her. Presumably you can, but it's a beautiful model. We'll tidy it up. We'll add her as a Battle Sisters. Speaking of which, I think this is Ethereal Stern. I actually don't like the pose. She's got a bit of a weird pose. She's jumping down. Now, what's missing from this is the backpack. So the backpack has a big cloak attached. So if I want to, I could grab another Battle Sister backpack and then, the model's intact. It'll just be missing a big billowing thing, which I thought looked silly anyway. So this is actually possibly an improvement. And then, oh no, beside her is a swordsman, an Eldari, who comes around with her. I have read stories. My wife has. She knows it better than I do. Okay, so we're just gonna try put this back, and hopefully the glue will hold it together. We're gonna take this out of the bag and put it somewhere safe, we think. Yeah, no. Yeah, the problem with these fine, beautiful models is, unfortunately, once something breaks, it's gonna break again and again and again. Okay, so that looks decent. I really like this model. It's not necessarily um anything, but it's definitely got Harlequin vibes about it. And yeah, of course, these whatever they are, the scatter things. So we'll put her up on one of my work tables together. So yeah, if I can get a backpack for Stern, then that's the two of them good to go, I guess. I pulled this one out just because, yeah, I've been doing some of the Hollow Heart, so the black Stormcast, and that was just the idea, was just maybe do another one. No idea what this is or where it came from, but it is some sort of Egyptian necromancer. So what's not to love? Yeah. It's a Vansar. Necromon Vansar. So we'll get her on base. I think she might be missing something. Maybe one of the big tails. But she's got enough to get her based and get her going. This is some sort of 3D vampire Blood Bowl miniature, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So you can see holding the ball, blood pouring from whatever player just assaulted. It is absolutely gorgeous. Arguably, if it was possible, it might be nice to remove the ball and put a skull there instead, and it'll just be a generic vampire looking all badass. But yeah, that's really, really cool. Some tentacles. Everyone loves tentacles. Not sure what to do with this guy. This is an engineer, a Skaven engineer. And the reason, is it an engineer? The reason is I already have one of these painted already. I don't necessarily need another one. But it's perfectly intact, good to go. Nice model. One of the old classic Necromundas. No, more times. This is one of the... She was from Hordes, wasn't she? Oh, I know. I think she was one of the Horde miniatures that was available as a recruit for War Machine. I think she was one of the Anyway, it's a nice model. It's an elf with a cloak and a sword. What's not to love? And a couple of weird things here. Like big. I think these are nerdly things. So they're giant, creepy looking bugs and swarm of flies. And is there a swarm of flies too? Yeah, two swarm of flies. So I think these might be workable for some of the bad guys in Ranger Strategy. We might deal with that. It's a skeleton for Bubble Team. And that was another goal. So it's 3 goals there. So a selection of stuff. What is missing? What have I not looked at yet? Okay, we're down to the last 3. I think we're into the big ones. All right, so bear with me. Okay, we're down to the last 3 finds out of this, and our first one is this Sisters of Battle Organ missile launcher. I'm not actually sure what it's properly called, but yeah, it is a fearsome thing indeed. So I can understand why this would be set aside and maybe abandoned, especially if it's been sitting on a table or a shelf for a little bit too long. Stuff like this can be scary. It's very, very ornate. There's a lot of detail going on, and even just starting into this would seem kind of terrifying. So I now have to face that. Um, yeah. So I haven't gone through to check to see if there's anything missing. It looks complete. I might fill a few gaps here and there and trim a few bits and pieces, but apart from that, it looks perfect. So as I said, I do have a startings of a battle sister army, the Adaptive Starter army, and my friend actually had picked out a few battle sisters to hand over to me to help out with that. The next one, so our penultimate, is this absolutely beautiful lizardman riding a dinosaur. So this, when I got it, there were a few bits that are broken off. So this had broken off, this had broken off, one of these broken off. But I think they were largely just pieces that had been intact before it was drawn out. Again, this is another big piece model. If you're going to start into it, you want it to look good, and that can be really scary and really intimidating. And possibly one of the things you need to do with these kind of situations is just go in and do it. Um, there are a few gaps in this that I will join. It is primed in a white, which is probably grand. Yeah, so I think it's good to go. I'll work on a texture and maybe some details. Oh, actually, I could take that bit of scenery and then that we had earlier and glue it down. That would look good down there. So it'll be tidy up, and then we will get to work with spray with the airbrush. The airbrush will hopefully cut down this a bit. And then finally, and you can kind of understand why this was abandoned, we have the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is an absolutely amazing piece. But again, this is probably a piece that sat on a shelf and then was a little bit too intimidating to paint. The trick with this is actually to paint each of the battle sisters one at a time individually, so you maybe don't get so intimidated. This was fully assembled. I did work my way through them and get them all off the base, but they had been glued down, and I think that may have been a mistake. The sarcophagus as well is glued in. I haven't been able to get that off. I'm just going to stick with it, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to dry brush underneath it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. This is an absolutely amazing piece, and I can 100% understand why you would want to put it behind you if it's been sitting on your table for maybe 2 or 3 years and you just haven't got around to doing it after buying it. Yeah. And then, yeah, it fell and it broke. So, largely looking at it, a lot of this is going to be survivable. So, this piece here fits in at the back somewhere. There's a gap. Back. All right, it's this here. So, we will be able to glue that back in. This will be okay. I think This one's actually from a melt. I think that's not supposed to be there. This one should glue in there. It's going to be a tight one. The problem with this is when it breaks, it's going to constantly be coming back again and again and again. It's a relatively thick join, comparatively for chains. We might be able to put a small wire into it. That might be the way to go. And then again, this one is here and it needs to glue onto this and support all of that weight. That's pretty terrifying. I'll give it a shot. As I said, I've managed to pull all of these girls off. So when I'm going to be painting it up, I will be starting from a little bit more of a manageable version. I'll put each of those girls onto their own bases and I'll paint up just those girls and then I'll paint this up separately. And then hopefully that will kind of break it down into the component parts. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to handle this. Do I glue it and then paint it? Or do I paint it and glue it? That's going to be the question. We'll see where we go. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And now it's terrifying on my table for a while. We'll see how long I last. Maybe in 2 years, I'll pass this on to somebody else. There is definitely, I've definitely been hit by a certain amount of existential dread. There's a lot of plastic. I had picked out a kind of a certain number of plans in my own backlog to try work through this year, and then all of this has just kind of come on top of that. And I'm kind of justifying it to myself in saying that, you know, these are good models. I definitely can handle them, but this probably wipes out any need for me to buy models for like maybe a year or two. I probably already had enough of a backlog for a year. So, yeah. I think maybe this serves as a bit of a cautionary tale. Um, I feel on reflection that my friend was definitely right in clearing out his backlog, working out what was manageable for him, and then putting aside the armies that he didn't want to handle anymore. So obviously the Battle Sisters were one, and there's a nice chunk of Battle Sisters here. And as I said, he did give me a box or two of Battle Sisters. The for some of them, I mean, this isn't playable in Warcry, so you're going to have to get a full legitimate army to actually play this. I mean, it's a beautiful model. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a wonderful piece of work, and I'm looking forward to doing it. But if you're not playing games, it's kind of a little bit harder to kind of justify to yourself. So maybe think about all of this when you're making your next purchase. Look at your own hobby backlog, see where you are, see where you can get to, and yeah, just for reference, this is what I am currently working on. This is currently on my table. So I'm working on Demon Prince for my Chaos Warband. Chaos Warband, my Chaos Slaves of Darkness army. I've got Pterodons that we're working our way through, and I've got my Chaos Chosen that we're working our way through. So I've already got a lot on my plate, and I've added a lot onto it by picking these up. Maybe I should have just left them behind. During as we're going through these, there's some models I said that I probably will end up binning. I probably should go back and review those and take out a few more. This is a hobby we're supposed to be enjoying. It's probably a good thing to leave a certain amount open, so you don't get overwhelmed. And I might be there. I might be in that overwhelmed side, but I'm very very grateful that my friend who was dumping these gave me the tip off and told me to have a look, and I'm gonna try do my damnedest to get a lot of cool models out of it. Yeah, but I need to check back in with Peachy Tips and channel as much of that army painting vibe as I possibly can. Maybe lower a couple of standards and improve a couple of speed skills to try get through what we have here, and get them serviceable. And then also actually get out there and play games with them as well. So a few of these, what do we have? Like we have a bundle of Underworlds, which obviously for me is great for Warcry. I mentioned like all of the Blackstone Fortress are going to be really good for playing some kill team, but I got to get out there and play those. Like actually playing games kind of justifies these purchases, justifies this hobby a little bit more, than just having them sat on the desk and looking at the pretty models. Anyway, that's it. The big find for me out of this particular dumpster was existential dread. A growing understanding that my backlog may have outpaced my life expectancy and what that actually means. Uh, yeah. If you made it this far, thank you very much for listening. And maybe this will serve as a cautionary tale for everyone involved, or not. Have a great week, and hopefully you'll check in with me when I get my next video up. All right, have a great one.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Each week I put up a new video talking about one of Games Workshop's specialist games. The goal is always to try and make the best possible two-player experience. If this is something you'd find interesting, please subscribe to the channel and comment to let me know what you'd like to see in future.